Hello and welcome back everyone to another edition of the Daily 8 on the News 8 Live Desk. Phil Penarski here, happy to be with you all on this Friday as we have survived yet another week. Lots to get into today as we go over the top 8 stories on this Friday, and we start over on the east side of the state, where civil rights attorneys Ven Johnson and Ben Crump held a joint press conference in Detroit earlier this morning to announce a pair of lawsuits on behalf of the families of Riley Doggett and Samuel Sterling. Both men were killed by law enforcement back in April of last year. Sterling was killed after he was run over by a vehicle driven by former Michigan State Police Sergeant Brian Keeley. Doggett was also killed after being hit by a Kent County Sheriff's cruiser during a chase. There is also a lawsuit in federal court in that case as well. We have a full recap of that press conference and more information on those lawsuits right now over on our website, woodtv.com. Next, we have an update to a story that broke just as we went live yesterday on the Daily 8 about a shooting, at the Kalamazoo Transit Center. We have now learned that the victim was a 60-year-old man, and he is now reported to be in stable condition as of yesterday evening. The Kalamazoo Department of Public Safety said the shooting does not appear to be random. No suspect has been arrested at this time, but they are investigating leads in hopes of finding the person responsible. The Grand Rapids Public Museum had to be closed yesterday after a pipe burst, which caused some flooding inside of the building. It happened around 6 a.m. Thursday in the Streets of Old Grand Rapids exhibit area. About 3 dozen different artifacts were damaged and removed from the flooding. Officials with the museum did say, though, that they expect them to be fully restored once they get their hands on them. It is unknown at this time how much the damage will cost to repair, but the museum has since cleaned up the areas that were impacted and is now back open today and back to normal operations. The Michigan Department of Transportation just received a $25 million grant from the federal government, which will help completely replace the East Beltline Bridge over I-96. MDOT recently rated the bridge as poor and is looking to make some serious changes, including pedestrian walkways and bicycle lanes. Construction on the project is expected to begin sometime in 2027 and will also expand the number of driving lanes from 5 to 7. It is not known at this time whether the bridge will be partially blocked off during construction or completely blocked off. That will also play a role in exactly how long construction crews will be out there working on the project. And for all you poets out there, the 57th annual Dyer Ives Poetry Competition will be returning next month. Organizers at the Grand Rapids Public Library will be accepting applications starting February 1st and all month long in February. Any Kent County resident 5 years and older is allowed to submit one original poem to be considered for the honor. The reigning GR Poet Laureate, Christine Stevens Krieger, will make the final decisions on winners in the competition. It is free to enter, and winners will also receive a cash prize and will also host an awards reading ceremony sometime in June. And people along the lakeshore dealt with some of the worst conditions from this week's Arctic blast, but it's their generosity for those without a warm place to stay that makes our next story. Baymont Inn and Suites Grand Haven was already offering discounted rates for those to escape the frigid temperatures, but a surge in donations allowed them to actually welcome even more guests. Close to 60 to 70 rooms were booked thanks to nearly $5,000 worth of donations from the organization Love and Action of the Tri-Cities. The group was able to also make lunches for those in need to deal with the Arctic blast as well. And speaking of the weather, let's now check in with Storm Team 8 meteorologist Scott Larson with a look at your forecast as we head into the weekend.
We've got a rare wintertime treat out there. Some sunshine is piercing through the clouds as we check things out in Holland, and it looks like the snow is largely winding down. An occasional flurry can't be ruled out this afternoon, but it looks like accumulating snow, at least for the time being, is done with. High temperatures today are going to stay pretty frosty, upper teens and lower 20s. 20 degrees in Ravenna today, 20 also for Grand Rapids, 19 in Caledonia, and temperatures just a hair warmer toward the lakeshore, 21 in South Haven, 17 our high this afternoon in Schoolcraft. We're watching for another chance of some accumulating snow through the weekend, but at least it will be windy and a little bit warmer with highs in the mid-20s to about 30 degrees.
All right, thanks, Scott. We end today's show with a look at your weekend planner, and what better way to celebrate the end of the Arctic Blast than with some of these hot events. The Harlem Globetrotters are bringing their world tour to Kalamazoo at the Wings Event Center tonight. The Knights of St. Casimir are hosting a breakfast with a side of comic books and toys with their specialty event to welcome the community in Grand Rapids. And Moulin Rouge the Musical is in town for the next 2 weeks, giving you plenty of chances to check out the Tony Award-winning show. All of those events and more can be found inside this week's Weekend Planner over on woodtv.com. All right, that is going to do it for us today on the Daily 8. We will be back again on Monday for 8 more stories to kick off your week. We hope to see you there. I do want to thank everybody so much for tuning into this latest edition of the News 8 Live Desk. I'm Phil Pinarski, and we hope you have a great rest of your day and an even better weekend.